All right, this is part two, the add-ons section and the finishing up of assignment two. I promise this will be the longest one. So today in this part of the assignment, you're going to go to add-ons up here at the top. And what you're going to have to do is probably search or go get add-ons. So down here, we're going to hit get add-ons. And there's a bunch of them in here. I'm highlighting two this time around. The first one is MLA headings. So if you'll type that in here, it'll search them out and you'll see that MLA formatting shows up. That's the one I want you to select. I already have it, so I would click manage, but you're going to have a plus free symbol that looks like that. I want you to click that. It'll ask you for another step to allow it, and then it'll be in your availability in the add-on section. So I'm going to close this because I already have it. Once you have it, go back to add-ons and then go find it and select, in this case, MLA formatting, and you're going to want to insert heading sidebar. That's what we're going to do. Okay, and what this sidebar is going to allow you to do is put an MLA heading style on your document. Is this absolutely necessary for everyone? No, not necessarily, but it does help if you're having kids write a paper in your class. This is an easy way for them to be prompted to put this information in, and it sets that heading right at the top of the page every single time. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and just practice by typing in the necessary information, and my image is blocking out some of this, so I'm going to drag it over here a little bit. Type in the necessary information, including a title. You can make that up and then hit insert, and that'll put it on the page, and you'll see that MLA style heading right there, and I'll be looking for that as you complete your assignment. So that's the first add-on, and I'm going to drag this back. And the second add-on I want to talk about, I'm going to close this now, is the EasyBib, or the works cited one. So this is going to help you cite references very easily. It's one of my favorites. So you're going to go back to add-ons. Again, you're going to get add-ons, and you probably saw it in there when it first showed up. There's the EasyBib right there. You can click on it right here and add it, or if you have to search for it because it didn't show up, just type in EasyBib and hit enter, and it'll show up right there, and then you can add it just like you added the previous one. Okay, so I'm going to close because I already have it. You'll have to allow permissions again. And then when you go back, go to EasyBib, Bibliography Creator, and then Manage Bibliography. And what I'd like you to do is that image and information that you texted or you copy and pasted up here, like I copy and pasted this information and I pasted that image down here. Either one or both, your choice, but I'm gonna cite the information just to practice. I'm gonna cite the information for this that I put in my document. So to do that, I'm gonna copy the link of that where I found that information, and then it's a website. So I'm going to come over here to the website and I'm going to paste that website in, that link, and then I'm going to hit search, and EasyBib is going to go find it. And now this, yep, that looks like exactly what I'm looking for. I can go double check by seeing up, it's the same name, and I'll hit select, and lo and behold, there's the bibliography. And if I click this button, it'll add the bibliography to my document. I want you to do that, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now here's the interesting thing, in addition to that, you can select a different style if you want APA, Chicago, and there's a bunch of others. The MLA and APA are the generally common ones. So when I hit add bibliography to doc and I scroll down, I'm going to move this over again because my video's in the way. There it is right there, and it even put the works cited title in there. If you wanted it on a separate page or you wanted your students to put it on a separate page, you could hold control and hit enter and it would do that. And there you have it, it's all set. Now some of you may be thinking, okay, well, what if I have more than one citation to put in there? Well, keep plugging them in here and then hit add to bibliography after you've found them all, because it'll just keep populating this list until you're done using it. Okay? So you really take advantage of that if you're someone who teaches and needs a bibliography required in their assignments. Okay, so that's that practice. There's one last thing in this assignment. Let me go back here, and I apologize. We're almost to the last thing. The next thing is manipulating the page and page setup. And the first thing we're going to do is look at margins and page orientation. So File, Page Setup. Got a little ahead of myself. So in here, we're going to do two things. I'm going to take this all out in two things. You're going to do landscape, and let's change the side margins to 1.5 just to see how that changes our document. Okay, and I'm going to actually have you leave that. Let's hit OK just to see what happens. And if we full screen it, you can see that this margin over here is way inside. If you had any information floating over here, you would see it too. So there you have it. We scroll down to the works cited, you can see that that pushed that way in. Okay. Are we going to leave it like that? I want you to leave the 1.5 margins just to show me that you know how to do the margins and you did it. But for the landscape view, you'll notice the page looks wider instead of skinnier and longer now. Let's go back and change that back to portrait because it just doesn't look right to me. I just wanted you to practice. So going back to File and Page Setup, selecting Portrait and hitting OK. And there you go, it changed it back. It looks a little more normal now. You can tell the 1.5 margin's still there. You can also look at the ruler and see that that's that way too. So that's that portion. Let me drag this back over. We're going to keep going down. One of the next best things you can do, and this has a couple awesome features to it, or reasons you can use it. You're going to go to File and Make a Copy. Now, making a copy does a couple different things. The first thing making a copy does is if you sent this to your students and they are able to look at the view only, they can make a copy for themselves and then they can edit their own version without changing yours. And it's an amazing deal. Or let's say you manipulated one, but you want to start fresh the next time. You have the same class. You don't want to use this one because it already has all the information on it. You want to start over so you can walk another group through it. So if you make a copy, and I want you to do this, make a copy, and it's going to relabel it as copy of assignment 2, and that's what I want you to leave it as. Underneath, it's going to be a folder, and it should be the folder that you put everything else in, so keep it in there, and then we're just going to hit OK. All right. And then it's going to bring up copy of assignment 2. And so now you have a copy of the same thing you just did, and you can share and manipulate, but it's a totally separate file of itself. And if you want to see that, you can go to your drive, and I'm going to go to my Friends University documents because that's where I'm keeping everything. And you should see it pop up in here. Okay, we copied a folder earlier. Now we're copying documents. Okay. If I wanted to double check it, I could go back. I could go over to this copy and see where it's at. And right now it's in the copied folder. I don't want mine in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out, and I want to find my main folder for the Friends University. It's right here, and I'm going to move it there. I don't believe you're going to have this issue because you don't have as many folders as I do. I had to move mine there. Okay. So now if I go back to my regular Friends drive, it should, I bet I have to hit refresh because it's not showing yet. And after a couple of minutes of loading, there it is, copy of assignment 2. All right, let's keep going. There's another way. Maybe you don't want it in a Word, or you don't want it in a regular Google Doc, you want it in a Word or a PDF. There's another way to do that and make these documents do that. So I'm going to go back to my assignment 2. There it is. I have too many windows open. You're going to go to File and Download As, and you've got a couple options here. You can do Microsoft Word, you can do Open Digital or Open Document Format, or PDF. I'm going to tell you, or I'm going to ask you to either make a Word document or a PDF. A PDF is, in my mind, is the best because it solidifies and makes it a read-only. If you want them to still be able to manipulate it in like a Word type situation, then Word is the way to go. Now, when they go over to Word, some of the features may not transfer over exactly, just as a little misnomer for you to keep you updated on that. But for the most part, it comes over pretty plainly, and you might have to hit some spaces or enters here and there. So I'm going to download mine as a PDF. Okay. When I download it as a PDF, it does not send it to Google though. it sends it to your hard drive on your computer. If I want that PDF in Google, I've got to go to my drive, I've got to go to New, and I've got to go to File Upload right here. All right, I'm going to pause while I went into my hard drive and I found my downloads folder, and at the top there it is, and mine's in order number like as when it was downloaded, and this is the one I want. So I'm going to copy this. I'm actually going to select it to copy it into my drive, so I'm going to just double click there, and on the side over here I'm going to bring this over, make it bigger. You'll notice that it says upload complete assignment 2. All right, and then if we want to validate that, there it is. Assignment 2 is a PDF. All right, so you can bring it back there, and then it has all the sharing privileges as a normal Google Doc. Word has the same thing. You can right click on this, and you can share it just like anything else. It now has its own link, and you can give it to anybody. Okay, so let's go back to where we were at, and we're ready to put the finishing touches on this deal. So there's two things left that I want to tell you: revision history and sharing a document. All right, so let's talk about revision history real quick. I'm going to pause and get there. When you have your document open to use revision history, you go to the top here and click All Changes Saved in the Drive. And basically this is going to break down all of your versions that you've made, and you can tell that I've been making this here today, this morning, on the 19th, and I always like to do it live. You can go through and name the version based on the edits you've made, and if it's a shared document, multiple people will show up in this revision history, and you can kind of judge who's been or hasn't been working in the document. It's great for that. Now, is there a specific thing I need you to do for this? No. And in fact, when you share these documents with me, I can go into the revision history and see how much time you put into it. So that's a really nice feature to have. Another nice feature in the revision history is that you can adjust where you were at. So like, let's say you wanted to see what a previous version looked like, you can click on the previous times and it'll take you back. And then if you want it to stay that way, if you want to restore to this version, you can do that as well. We're not going to do that. I'm going to go back, and we're next going to talk about sharing. All right, I'm back in my main page. The share option is up here. This is an awesome thing. You probably don't have all this view because you need to hit Get Shareable Link, and that'll bring this view up for your dialog box. It expands your dialog box. And I love sharing links, and this is how I share my assignments with you and with my students and everybody. So I'm going to copy this, and this is actually going to take you to assignment, the Weapons of Mass Education, the first part of it, assignment 3. So if you'll stop now after you've copied this, that ends assignment 2, and this is actually, this copied link is going to take you into assignment 3. As a bit of some side information, I will pick up right here where we left off when I start assignment 3.